this because Allah wants me to, but Allah doesn't want you to put fashion and show your beauty, whatever the beauty is. To show beauty, right? In front of a stranger.
Right, that's written into
In Islamic jurisprudence, in law, right. She's the one who promotes Sharia law, and she's violating it in front of everyone.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
I'm here.
She can't dance in public when she wants.
Eventually.
Right? She can't speak to strange men. Every day she's sitting in Congress speaking to strange men. All of these laws are violating Sharia law. I don't believe in Sharia law. Right. I want her to. I want all women, wear makeup, dress however you want to dress, run for office, have equal rights, whatever. I'm for it. But don't come and tell me I believe in Sharia law, and before you have to respect me, and then violate Sharia law. And when I point the finger, you call me Islamophobe.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about Sharia law, because I don't think a lot of people, a lot of my listeners, know too much about it. And I know that when we try to have a conversation about it, it gets censored and people, like you said, call it Islamophobic. What is Sharia law?
Sharia law is the jurisprudence.
It's a very
And what are some of the
new format. New format. A format of going with the
how to pray for yourself.
Is murder a component of Sharia law?
There's an entire chapter on murder. Murder is condemned in Sharia law, but it doesn't include
non-believers.
Non-believers, again, there's another. It's all categories. But what type of non-believer?
Is it acceptable to murder a non-believer under Sharia law?
Just like that? Not the same.
How complex is that?
No, it's actually a lot simpler, but just not in that way. So if a Muslim becomes a non-believer, then they get like that.
Right, and then so if a Muslim becomes a non-believer, but also isn't there a line in Sharia law that if a non-believer got converted to Islam, could also be murdered under Sharia law?
Yes, because they are not directly affecting anything in the religion, but they're manipulating Muslims, and that goes under another category of spreading immorality. Because converting people away from Islam is seen by Sharia law as spreading immorality on the earth. And if you do that on this planet, then the chosen ones, the Muslims, have to take care of that person. It's just
so if I fall in love with a Muslim,
not going to happen.
Okay, but if I do,
No.
and he then says, you know what, I'm not going to be Muslim anymore. I can be murdered and he can be murdered.
No, you can't, because that's just the exception. No. There's a big difference between you falling in love and him converting for you. He will get punished, not you. But if you were someone who had a channel, who had a TV station, and is bringing Muslims to Christianity, then you would be counted.
Interesting.
So not just the issue. No. I can give you a name. For example, Brother Rashid. I don't know if you've heard of Brother Rashid. Brother Rashid, he is a Muslim who left Islam, became Christian. And he has a channel, and he had a program called Su'al Jari, Daring Questions, and he comes from a very well-informed background, not just being Muslim, but also really studying Islam. He is targeted day and night by extremists. Why? Because he's dragging Muslims in.
Okay, so to me, that obviously is a very clear differentiation between this religion and another religion, because I can convert Christianity to Catholicism, Judaism, Tawhid. This group has changed a million times, and there's no fear, there's no rule, there's nothing bad that's going to happen to me for those conversions. And that's very important for people to understand.
But the same with Islam.
But not out, right? Yeah. Behind there being so many lies and an unwillingness to discuss the religion, but that actually scares me because, as I say, you need more speech, right? So if we don't understand something, we can talk about it. There should be nothing that's above intellectual debate. And with this birth of anti-Americans in our holding congressional seats, with Omar, and Rashida Tlaib, and look, outside of Muslim, with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez even, they view Americans as cancerous. I really do genuinely believe that they hate America. And to see these people gather platforms and say we're following them and then being told that we can't critique them unless you're sexist, unless you're Islamophobic.
It's funny they call me Islamophobic. I look at someone with that. I white turban on.
Right.
I could go as his mother. I could probably trick someone.
Right, exactly.
They call me Islam.
Well, it's okay, they call me a white supremacist, so I don't really have that power over me, but nothing's off limits to the left. It's a complete lunacy. So you have stated that you believe that Islam will never be reformed.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Never, ever will be reformed. Firstly, who was the first figure to rise to try and reform Islam? His name was Hussein, the grandson of Muhammad. Hussein, the son of the daughter of Muhammad. 50 years after the death of Muhammad, saw the caliphs conquer the Dutch and take over the geographic regions.
It's a very strange yoga.
He said, I would like to reform the religion of Muhammad. And he was alive at the time. He was a young boy. And he saw the corruption. You know what happened to the caliphs? Guess what happened? Let me show you what happened. Firstly, they surrounded him and 73 of his family members and companions. All of them needed it. Who? The Muslims did it. Not the Christians, not the Jews, the Muslims did it. And all you need to do is search Imam Hussein and read that. In my book, there's a whole chapter. They butchered him, they killed him, then they sliced his body into bits and pieces. 70,000 soldiers came versus 72 men. Then they took the woman hostage from Karbala, Iraq, to Syria, walking. Why? Because he wanted to reform the religion. He wanted to rise against the violent kings.
And to them, this was a righteous killing.
Of course, they said, kill this infidel.
Infidels.
Right? Kill this the son of Muhammad, the grandson. In Arabic tradition, the grandson is the son. So they say, kill him. So if the grandson of the Prophet couldn't reform one fatwa, couldn't reform one mosque, couldn't reform one violent teaching, and they butchered him, you think me, 1,400 years later, come from Australia, you think I'm going to reform the religion? Or do you think someone sitting in Arizona can reform Mecca? This is nonsense.
Do you worry about your safety?
Of course I worry.
You worry about your safety?
I have a scar over here.
You worry about your safety?
From all the attacks. My book, I've written about the struggles, my home being raided, my car being vandalized with machetes. I get punched in the face. All you have to do is read the attack on Google. They come out. Look, Islam can never, ever, ever be reformed. Muslim individuals can. Islam as a religion cannot. Because, very logically, religion, according to Muslims, is the word of God. It came from God. The Muslim will leave what they believe to be the word of God and follow the word of Imam Tawheed, or the word of man. That's man-made. Excuse me, that's man-made. And if it's man-made, then it's not what God wants. They want what is God's law, not what could be God's law. Two different issues. You're telling someone to completely convert. Reform is a conversion. Might as well go become a Jew or a Christian. Never, never, ever. I say to the Muslim, that's realistic. We have two meanings of Islam and the Prophet Muhammad. Why go for the violent one? Why not give them the minority teachings? That's what I said. The minority also have problems. But they can be amended like how every other religion managed to amend the violent issues. It's on that level.
Right.
It's on that level. It can be dealt with. But the majority, you can't do that.
Now you say, first off, I just want to commend you on your bravery, because I think that is one of the scariest things in the entire world, to know that your life is at risk because you're trying to talk about issues that are super important.
I worry about it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, people tell me that all the time.
Because the left are more violent than even ISIS.
I know.
The left, look, ISIS and their friends in the West, they're determined amateurs. The left are openers. If they come after someone, then I'm really worried about you.
Wow, that's actually really scary, and you're accurate. I forget about that, how well organized they are. Yeah, I think it definitely gets scary, and when you see something like that, as bizarro as the New Zealand thing was, it really makes me aware of how big of a target is on my back. That was a real stretch. And the way that they come after my family privately, and things of that nature, they try to keep it highbrow, but what we're dealing with is something that is violent, something that is dangerous. But the thing that gets me up every day is that I just have this belief that the minority community can be freed from this victim narrative, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to bring that forth. And what inspires you?
What inspires me?
Yeah, what inspires you to keep going?
The change I see taking place. The change I see taking place. When I go to a Muslim community, and the men and women, they're smiling, but they're afraid to run towards me, to shake my hand and take a picture. They're smiling. And when the clerics and the sons of clerics message me on WhatsApp, and they say, hey, let's get together privately. Not in front of everyone. And the clerics come to my house with gifts. This is someone who I expect would issue a statement against me, or give like a fatwa against me. Come to my house. With food, and my friends who don't eat it, I'm happy with. They're watching this anyway. But no, they're very nice people, but they're afraid of the majority of Muslims. So when I see this in my community, I become encouraged. Also, the bridges that I'm building with the Jewish community, with the Christian community, this keeps me going. Of course, my transition wasn't as easy as many people would think. I had to go through a very lonely and quiet and long period of my time where I had to somehow detach myself away from the indoctrination of the clerics and the training and everything. Even at times, because I was trained to shoot. And at times when I go to the shooting range, I remember when I was a young boy how I would hold it, and these things, they bring back memories.
Who trained you to shoot?
When I was in Iran.
Okay.
There's a video of me shooting. In fact, you probably said that
Right.
I'm a really good shooter, and thanks to the regime and their people.
And you said that you used to be an extremist.
Fundamental, I would never speak to you 6 years ago.
Wow.
You would, oh no, this is treason. I would have never come here 6 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, but now I'm watching up to you.
Yeah, there's something, there's a weird parallel between you and I in the sense that, like, I used to be a leftist or a liberal, and yet I have this awakening, and now I feel like it's incumbent upon me to deliver this message to my community, despite all the attacks that I go through every single day, because there is something bigger, and I'm encouraged by the same stuff that you say you're encouraged by, which is just, I see so many other Black Americans, getting inspired and coming out and doing this thing, and yes, I'm worried about my risk, but I also feel that it's now or never. And we have to bring the world forward. We have to have these conversations, and we have to, get Black Americans off of this sinking victim ship. I'm actually very encouraged to hear that you're kind of going through the same thing. You kind of started. Obviously, there's extreme differences here. But you did talk to me a little bit about before we got live. You said that you used to be an extremist, and you were married, and you got divorced, and you take full credit for the divorce because of your extreme views. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I was married to a
Lift in arms with inhale
who was raised in a
and with exhale.
society, and she had all of these
And-
teachings, wearing a full burqa, not even ninja,
Inhale
and came from a
And
family.
exhale and
I
forward.
was the ideal husband, extremist who spoke many languages, traveled the world.
Inhale, stretch and swing here. And exhale. Good. It's taking place. Что потом поешь?
So, it was because I saw the path I was going in. She wasn't willing to join. Wonderful. I wish all this, but this happened in Iraq. It was never in the West, otherwise you would have seen how much freedom there is in the West and so on. So it's very hard. Also, her family had a lot of influence on her. But that's completely. It's fine, but it helped me grow as a person. And it's funny because one of the talents that I now have is I can identify. I used to identify my wife amongst 200 workers, 200 work women.
That's impressive.
I could spot my wife, and they're all dressed the same. And it took. I got told off many times. We meet. The mosque has two separate areas, men and women, and then we meet outside. And then there's a lady standing outside, just like my wife, and I go up to her and I'm like, "So what did you lads get lost? Get lost! Have some shame, Oh, not my wife. Next one." Then we made a deal that she had to wear a green band around her wrist so I can identify. Gloves, nothing, black gloves, nothing.
See, that's interesting you would think with itself because one of the things that the left tries to do
Arch with inhale
that
and
I always say this. They pretend to be progressive.
arch with exhale.
Are progressive. So the left pretends to be the party of inclusivity, the party of freedom, the party of being able to forward, right? And there's something that is completely contradictory about the left, who claims to put feminism on a pedestal, right? Freedom for women. At the same time that they uplift voices like Linda Sarsour, who believes in Sharia law, right? Women have to be covered from head to toe, men and women must be separate. How do these two ideologies come together? And obviously we're talking about intersectionality here.
And you're talking about the former extremists. Let me tell you who we used to vote for, the left.
Wow.
I dare anyone to point out an Islamic radical
Yeah.
and not only that, the shooting happened in New Zealand. Some Democrats here.
I'm very hungry.
None of them visited.
Took me too long.
Good, moderate minority. They all went to the giant, glamorous, extremist mosques.
Now, why do radical Islamic extremists support leftist politicians?
Because the left think they're smart. The left, they think they're smart. You know why? Because they think by getting the vote, they're smart. The leftist mentality, and I used to be a staunch leftist in my voting, in my politics, in my community, always welcome the Greens and Labour in Australia. Never the Liberals or the Conservatives. So the leftists, their whole aim in life, everything, their policy, their politics, their funding, everything, Soros, agenda, their whole ideology is get more votes. Be it through illegal immigration, be it through shutting down impeachment, whatever.
Chaos.
The point is, they need more votes. That's their whole agenda. The extremists, they know all what this guy wants is votes. So if we gave him 500 votes and he's going to give us access to the media, to the Congress, to the USA government, we came from the desert. This guy wants just 500 votes from people who don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
Just second box, this name. Vote for this name. And then you will take our message and bring it out, make it the biggest case in America. Come, we'll give you all the votes.
Wow.
Point is, take our clerics and make them the voice.
So it's almost as if the extremists are looking big picture and the leftists are just looking at one thing, which is, can I have votes? Can I get into power? And they don't understand what exactly it is that they're feeling.
The left thinks 4-year, 8-year. Wow. That's the term they think in. 4-year term, 8-year term. The Islamic extremist thinks my grandchildren and how I change the educational system now for them. I can give you plenty of names of people. There was a case where a lady, I spoke about her in my book. She infiltrated the U.S. educational department in Detroit, Michigan. And she got funding and she changed the whole curriculum. Then a leaked video, I'm not sure if you want to insert this or put this in the description somewhere. A leaked video shows that she's telling people that our plan here is not only to make Americans Muslim, but all of America Muslim. Islamic extremists,
Jihad.
Exactly. Islamic extremists think in hundreds of years ahead.
Right. And so the last thing that I want to touch upon here, because it's really important and it's something that I tweeted about, is the birth rate, which is something that people don't really pay attention to. And the second you talk about it, they say that you're Islamophobic, obviously, and as if there's something Islamophobic about talking about the Muslim birth rate, which is really high, particularly in European countries. Is there any threat there when you have people that are migrating to your country that are diametrically opposed to your belief system? So I want to be clear here. What I'm saying is that we can talk about the border issue all we want in America and about Mexicans pouring over the border and from South American countries pouring over the border, but we don't have diametrically opposed ideology with Mexicans and with people that are coming in from Venezuela, wherever it is they're coming from. They still hold Western principles and Western ideals. But when we talk about the migrant crisis in Europe, we're talking about a flood of people coming in that believe in Sharia law. Is that problematic when the birth rate in the Muslim community is quadruple what it is in the European community?
Allow me to surprise you and also answer your question at the same time. Not only is it problematic for Westerners and non-Muslims, it's problematic for the Muslims who have already migrated and assimilated into the West. So now Muslims are leaving their mosques because there's a new group of Muslims who now want to, because when a migrant comes, what do? They look for the first mosque because that's where the Muslims are. They come into a Muslim community that's completely developed, doctors and engineers and, teachers, and they come from the boat, welfare, get a ride, come into a mosque and expect to be accepted. These expectations have destroyed the Muslim community. The Muslims themselves are suffering.
Right, the assimilated Muslims.
Yes, and sometimes we're not talking 5-10 families. These are hundreds and thousands of families who are moving now outside the suburbs because they're sick and tired of running into people they don't like. We ran away from you to come here. Now you're coming back here.
Right. And it's funny that you say that because I have spoken about it, but I had a Muslim roommate for 2 years. She was from Canada. Lovely girl. I mean, really just the kindest heart. We became the best of friends when we were in New York. And she would talk about this. Like she'd say, I'm Muslim, but, not like that kind of Muslim. She always made that differentiation. She went to mosque every Sunday. And, she definitely wanted to marry someone.
Every Friday.
Every Friday. Okay.
Unless she had converted. And
I'm pretty sure it was on the weekends she went.
Well, it might be.
On Sundays.
Maybe Islamic classes.
Maybe,
they
yeah.
have lessons on
Look,
Sundays.
you would know better than me, so we'll go with Friday. She'd go every Friday, and what it showed me is that she had never been to the Middle East. Said that she born in Canada, grew up in Canada, and she would always be in her language. She would be cautionary and say, not like that kind of Muslim, which is really interesting because you're almost hitting at that there is sort of this war, not a cultural war, if you will, going out, that when you have this flood of migrants who are coming from these territories, living in a different way, and there are people that have assimilated and there are Muslims that have assimilated, it does sort of disrupt even within the Muslim community.
It's starting all over again.
Right.
When the Muslims first came, the assimilated ones now, when they first came to the West, there was a struggle of who are you? Why do you look different? Why do you dress different? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Be like this. And then the second, third generation came, and now they're on the same page with the rest of the kids in the classroom, the people at work. All of a sudden, a new wave comes, and it's starting all over again. And this time, there's technology, there's YouTube, there's Twitter. This time, what the first people had to go through was locally. Now it's globally. There's an extremist in France destroying the statues. And the video goes viral. Why? Because according to him, this is an idol. And Abraham destroyed the idols, and we need to destroy that. No. So with technology, this bad reputation is affecting all of the Muslims, including the assimilated ones. When I sit with Muslims, no cameras, just us together, the way they talk, anybody who would listen to them from outside the religion would say, these people, they are so sick and tired of their religion, and so sick and tired of their own community, and sick and tired of their background and their family. And I think it's the worst time to be a Muslim right now because of how vocal the extremists have become and how audacious.
And how backed they are now by leftists.
And how rich because of welfare and these bad policies. And the leftists, they say, we love Muslims. No. Only the ones that we want to work with.
Right. That'll
Not
help.
all Muslims.
That'll get us votes.
Yeah.
And,
Not all
and
Muslims.
since, like you said, the minority
Yes.
holds your viewpoint, but the majority holds the other viewpoint, that means that the leftists are going to play with the majority because they want it's a numbers game and
It's a
what they
number.
want.
4-year,
votes.
8-year thinking. To get to that, I need numbers. That's how they think. And the left also think that I honestly believe from my readings, most professors in Islamic studies in universities are leftists.
No.
The way they write about Islam, it's like they know that a time will come where they'll have to come face to face with someone more powerful in power that's a Muslim. And it's like presenting their religion, writing about Islam in a way that would save them from being killed by the extremist, from being targeted, isolated. And this is very, very ridiculous because firstly, you're trying now to give the extremists, you're applying democracy onto a group of people that don't believe in democracy. In fact, they want to destroy it. Extremists want to destroy democracy. Democracy is tyranny to extremist Muslims, to fundamentalists, to care that's lobbying politicians and giving, all Democrats, of course, and giving them funding. They want to see a global caliphate of the Muslim Brotherhood. They are Hamas. Their logo is the planet that you and I live on with their flag dug right inside it.
Wow.
That's their logo. That's their charter. That's their articles. I see CARE and the Islamic organizations in America as unofficial embassies for these terrorist groups in the Middle East. And the left don't see that. The left, because of how narrow-minded they are, it's easy for them to say, Islamophobic. You're an ex-Muslim, closeted ex-Muslim. A real Muslim can't be peaceful. Imam of peace. What do you mean Imam of peace? You can't be a real Muslim, hugging rabbis? Really? Eating with Hindus and Buddhists? Muslims don't do that. Anjem Chaudhry, CARE, Ilhan Omar, they're the real Muslims. They're the ones, and everything they say that is ridiculous and disgusting, right? That's fine, because white guilt, we were the ones who oppressed them first. Now, Ilhan Omar isn't a danger in Congress. She's just a brown woman with an opinion. Why are you silencing her? The way they think is completely upside down.
Right.
And Ilhan knows that.
They will think themselves right into oppression. And
when they bring Ilhan Omar on TV or Rashida Tlaib, as to why are you creating chaos? Why are you attacking America, American values? Or because of my color? Or is it because of what I wear?
Yeah.
That's what Rashida Tlaib says. They're attacking her because of her color.
No.
Then again, David Duke comes out to say rally behind Ilhan Omar, who is the number one guy against the black community, the KKK. He's promoting Ilhan. If the left don't wake up now that David Duke is coming up publicly telling them that, we really need to get behind Ilhan Omar. She knows what she's doing, pushing this agenda. If they don't wake up now to see that, what is she doing that even David Duke is supporting her? So David Duke and the leftists are now on the same page.
I think what we have to do is realize that because we have a fearful media and a mainstream media that is largely dishonest, that this is why I think that voices like ours are so important and what we do is so important, because we're just having conversations. But I think that we play the biggest role when it comes to waking people up and just getting them to think, right? You don't need to know everything, but you need to be willing to discuss things and listen to different viewpoints. I want to commend you on your fearlessness. This has been so interesting, and we have to do it again. But we wrap up every single episode of the Candace Owens Show by giving you 2 minutes, and you can say whatever you want. You're going to look right into that camera and pretend that what you are going to say is going to fall upon the ears of every single person in this world, and you can actually make an impact. Are you ready for your 2 minutes of fame?
Definitely.
Okay. Are you ready? On your mark, get set. Imam Tawhidi.
Thank you. I believe that the human race is heading towards an era where people really need to unite against the extremist Muslims. Today, I spent time speaking to Candace Owens, and there is something that brings me to this table today, and that is I see a lady that comes from a community that the left and the extremists and the far left, the elite left, look down upon and think that because of her color, because of the community she belongs to, she needs to vote in a certain way and think in a certain way and speak in a certain way and dress in a certain way. And she rose above all of that and broke the shackles that they had placed onto her community to speak out. And now she's a voice of liberation for her community. I believe that Muslims can do the same. The left has always been a big part of terrorism in the Middle East, sponsoring the wars and sponsoring rebels. I believe if they also say to themselves that instead of me doing what the left want us to do, what the elite left expect from us to say, and how to vote, then we should also rise against the extremists and unite with the rest of humanity, be it Jews, Christians, atheists, Buddhists, whatever. Unite against the threat that is really damaging our Western societies. Candace, I thank you very much for having me on your show.
So wonderful.
God bless you.
Really, I'm so excited to read this. This is like, I mean, thank you guys for watching the latest episode of the Candace Owens Show. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation as much as I did. As many of you guys already know, PragerU is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which means we need your help to keep all of our content free to the public. Please consider making a tax-deductible donation today. I would really appreciate your support.
Бананчик будешь, Кришна? Нет? Бананчик, это вкусно. Scarcity set of mind. Now, I'm making this stream and it's going while I'm here in the kitchen. And I feel sorry to store. Even though storing takes a lot of space. Ecologist can tell us that the world is collapsing. The climate is collapsing. That our feasting, it's really like feasting. It's not sustainable. And it's scary. So, I can choose to be responsible and think, remember all the time to save things. These mandarins are so great. Кришна, будешь? Кришна, будешь? Кришна, будешь? Будешь. Будет, шашлык из тебя будет. This lamp is so bright. It was an interesting talk. And now we can exercise, right? Just I'll make some tea. Could you see how mess is here? You don't see it. Good for you. It's difficult to see from like when I see mess, it really feels like I have to be careful not to fall, not to get dirty or Кришна, что? Ты голодный? Давай, Кришна. Хватит это есть, давай я тебе дам курицу. Видишь? Идем, Кришна. Курочку. Холодненькая, правда. Давай. Покушай. Теперь можно кофе сделать. Раз такая пошла. Много соевого молока. Протеинов. Ну что? Что, такое жую, можно с закрытым ртом что-то поделать. Можно сначала вообще волосы, вот они вот залежались вот так, да? И вот расчески, они как бы не дают почувствовать важность массажа, скажем так. Нашей голове необходим массаж. Можно не такой интенсивный. Но при этом распределяющее сальное сало, вот как кошечка. Если кошечек не гладить, их шерсть становится малоприятной. Нужно гладить, а они гладкие, приятные. Так же и наши волосы. Ну, расческа, она обычная, то есть можно щеткой. Есть такие щеточки, они хорошо, конечно, и массируют. Но, конечно, пальцы ничто не заменит, внимание может заменить. Но вниманием сложно работать. Ой, так, сейчас я тут этот микрофон выключу, вот это не аллергия, а аллергия. Вот так. Сейчас просто будет заметна разница, да, волоса, как волосы даже выглядят. То есть вот я не расчесывала волосы и не делала им, на самом деле, didn't do what I'm preaching for. Несколько дней точно. Я мыла голову водой. Несколько раз теплой водой. Так, ой. Можно сразу сделать. О, ну вот плечики, грудь. Ну как там? А почему, интересно? Я по-русски этот стрим веду. Очень классно, что все работает. Так, ну вот. М? М. Это мое сало, которое выработала моя голова. Ой, что-то у меня тут за узел оказался. Куда-то. Не советую повторять такие выдергивания. Как можно понять, я резкая достаточно в своих движениях и импульсы. Вау. Как сейчас? М? Вот тут, конечно, многовато жирка его. Некоторое время нужно распределять. Хорошо, кстати. Тут вся голова лучше чувствует. Вот такая йога сегодня интересная. Кончики пускай подпитаются. Ну как? Классно, да? Так, ну что ж, кофе, и потом занимаюсь. Да-да-дай, да-да-дай, дай-дай, да-да-да-да-дай, да-да-дай, дай, 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 да-дай, да-дай, да. Apparently, there were a lot of videos that didn't get record. Look, if I speak like that, ha ha ha. And when I speak like that, look at you, look at me. I'm really speaking, my face is working. You also get the feeling that I'm collected, not so much collected, preserved and reserved. And when I speak like that, I can also speak like that, barely moving forward and backward my jaw, because here it's everything is hanging. That's it. That's it. Wow. Hold your face. Hold your face. Don't lose your face. Losing the face is just giving up the societal codes are actually ancient, and of course there were quite a few people that got it through, that thought it through, that got the access. This is part of us. So it's like, of course, I understand that there are even people like children that never discovered masturbation, even though they probably felt already pleasure in those areas until the point that someone told them that. but it doesn't mean that it's impossible to discover how we can just hold the face, and the whole thing is changes. When I hold my face, I feel different. You cannot feel the same when you hold your face. It's just impossible. Try to hold your face and feel different. Or say, oh, the streams. It's like, I don't know, shall I call it yoga streams at all? Because I feel it's yoga, but it's if someone is expecting it to be, oh, now I'm too bright and now too dull, like that. Oh, like this. This camera isn't that great. It's my MacBook camera. I'll check it out now. If my phone got charged. No? This is so weird. Why not? Yes. It does. It's okay. Yeah. Do I need this table? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Do I need this table? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Do I need the table? Do I need the table? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so. 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 Wow, I have to practice more often with you guys. I'm sure I'm coming back to this. No, it's impossible. Of course, I want to practice. I will. I want to hold my face. Без мета, ты бы что ни говорил. Я буду держать свое лицо. И я буду держать свое лицо. You know? I think you know. I'm not that genius. But it took some time to get it. You don't have to be genius to understand those things. Anyhow, I've checked it. That's why my time. Beautiful, usually something healthy is beautiful. When my muscles are flexible and standing in harmony, it's beautiful. So when my pelvis in the neutral position, it's beautiful. When my stomach is in a position, it's beautiful. Even if it's having that look, there is a lot of fat, but now it's in a good position. Yeah. And if it would be like that, it's immediately not so pretty. Yeah, we understand because it's some crappy position. What is that? I'm hanging. And if it's like that, look, same. And we're all noticing it, we're all seeing it. So when the movement happens from the pelvis, then this is the magic. Then this is the magic. Then this is the magic, 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 magic. Magic, 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 magic. And holding the face. It's not something superficial. What I wanted to say that often we are seeing, and I'm seeing, the tradition as something outdated. There is a question why people want to encode certain things so deeply. They're in it already. Of course, there is this chance just happened. I bet that something they are kept not for no reason. For example, the idea that it should be certain things should be shamed, like in Chinese culture, not to lose face, like to get angry in public, or to lose the ability to control emotions, not to be emotionally intelligent and guess what people want. It feels outdated because often it creates nowadays a lot of confusion. At the same time, when we value directness, honesty, openness, just to be present and to express yourself. At the same time, what is self? If we just let ourselves be loose in every way, then we lose the tonus for life. It's counterproductive even for ourselves. So the tonus, basic tonus, it's a balance. It's like that's what gives you energy and requires effort to sustain. And this effort would be happy if you don't lose it, because to gain it, it's already a completely different story. I love so much this life. I love this life. I love this life. It's so amazing. I'm in love with the life, and I see how we all see so many things, and often we just ignore it, or we don't believe ourselves, or we think that okay, it's just too difficult, or what do I know about it? But actually, a lot of things, if you just have questions, first or sometimes the second answer we find it's what it is. Sometimes more, but yeah, it takes some time for some things to get the answers. It's unbelievable for me how so many things I understood when I was 20. Well, there is this feeling that, oh my God, no, who am I to understand it really in entirety? At the same time, I was pretending like I understand much more. So it gave this paradox, because I wanted to feel that I wanted to get the credit, but at the same time, I wasn't sure. So I had to play it up. Oh my God. So now in my life, in my happy life, what I'm doing, I'm singing, I'm playing, I'm doing those streams. It's funny. And I, some time ago, in my childhood, in my teenage, I want to be famous, and so it was like kind of be famous and be successful was the same thing for me. I thought being famous would solve all my issues, even though I saw some movies where like famous people were struggling with being famous. It didn't bother me. And here there is someone interesting. Yeah. Yep. And but then I didn't do much for being famous either. I was just living kind of my life. Was exploring things. I was so thirsty. I was so deprived, and then the world was, oh wow, this whole world for me, I can explore, and I'm young and beautiful and cool. So I was kind of just exploring and learning, exploring, and yes. Now I'm still doing similar thing, but already I know what I like. I know much more about myself. At that time, I pretended that I know myself because I didn't have time just to get to know myself. I just want to get to know the world, and so I assume kind of that I know myself. But I even didn't know what got me, like when I got annoyed, often I didn't know why did I get annoyed, or I didn't know how to handle certain. Yeah, I like. It's funny how I could think that I know myself. You. Anyhow, life is an amazing place, and I want to tell myself, like, and to everyone that keep your yeah, face, and lienze, and oh, I think now should be some a class. Where are they? I have to go now, I think, soon. And he's so beautiful. He's very beautiful. You're so beautiful. Thank you that is right. Thank you. You're so beautiful and so cute and so playful. Amazing cat. Let's bring light on him, spotlight him. Yeah, that's him. Сладенький, такой сладенький, ты такой сладенький. Нет. Луч солнца золотого тьмы скрыла пелена. Ой, все.